Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our McLean County Chamber of Commerce Town Hall. This town hall will be covering our Leaders on Loan information session. Today, we're sitting down with LMC Steering Committee members, Leslie Garrett and Brandon Long, to review the intent of the program and the application process for Leaders on Loan, which is a part of our Leadership McLean County program. Before we dive into today's topic, I want to recognize our July Video Resource Library sponsor, Reiser, Chinsky & Company, LLP, Certified Public Accountants. By sponsoring our educational programs, the Chamber is able to provide our member eds and town halls to our membership free of charge. So we want to thank our Video Resource Library sponsor for July, again, Reiser, Chinsky & Company, LLP. All of our member eds and town hall presentations can be found on our social media platforms, but also are being recorded. And so today's session will be recorded and will be posted on our Video Resource Library, which can be found on our website at mcleancochamber.org. The Video Resource Library is found under our Member Resources tab on the website, so make sure to check it out after today's session or any of our other sessions that we have recorded on there. Overall, we do want to thank all of our sponsors of the Video Resource Library. Without their generous contributions, we couldn't do what we do. So we appreciate them and everything that we do. I am going to stop sharing a screen right now, and I'm going to share a different screen. So hold on as I go through that transition. We are going to transition over to our presentation. So I want to thank Leslie and Brandon for joining us today. Without them, we couldn't be doing what we do as it relates to our Leadership McLean County. And so I want to thank them. Leslie, Brandon, would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Thank you, Jancy, so much. Good morning, everyone. And I want to just say we could not do this without you, Jancy. And Brooke, thank you also for helping us out this morning. I am Leslie Garrett. I work with State Farm Insurance, and I am a graduate of the Leadership McLean County class of 2013, best class ever. And I am also going to be co-chairing.
Leslie, do you mean the class of 2021?
2021. Oh my gosh, 2013. I have no idea where I made that up. I need a third cup of coffee this morning, obviously. So at any rate, yes, I am the class of 2021, best class ever. And I am also this year going to be co-chairing our Leaders on Loan program. And I'm looking forward to speaking with all of you this morning to give you some more details around that. And I'm co-chairing with Brandon. So Brandon, I'll pass it over to you.
Thanks, Leslie. My name is Brandon Long. I work with Country Financial here in town. I'll echo your thoughts, Jancy. We definitely couldn't do this without you. We'd be a little lost. I am also, along with Leslie, a Leadership McLean County graduate of the class of 2021.
Well, thank you both for being here this morning. We really appreciate it. I think I got my screens figured back out. So sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties over here, so I apologize. But you guys should see my screen now that comes up with McLean County Chamber. We are doing our town hall today, July 15th. And again, we've already introduced ourselves. For those of you who are joining us on Facebook or who are joining us via Zoom, if you do have any questions as we go through the presentation today, please drop those in the comment box or in the chat functionality of Zoom. I will be monitoring that. Brandon and Leslie and everyone else can also see those things as well. So you guys should be able to, we'll be able to address those questions as they come in. So feel free to drop any questions in the comment or the chat box. So to kick us off today, I'm just going to cover kind of our LMC and what Leadership McLean County is. We are going to go into kind of the application process for Leaders on Loan, and then really wrap up with kind of what the project should look like and those pieces. So first and foremost, the applications for Leaders on Loan is open currently. All of our information is out on our website, and we will give you that link in just a few minutes. But Leaders on Loan is actually part of our Leadership McLean County program, or we call lovingly LMC. So LMC stands for Leadership McLean County. Our goal with LMC is to develop and cultivate our participants' skills and raise awareness and engagement through intentional learning experiences. And so that's really what LMC is about, is intentional learning experiences for the betterment of McLean County. The leadership program is administered by the Chamber of Commerce, and we hope to develop informed citizen leadership skills, create awareness of our community, and provide participants with a broad understanding of both local and state government and the role that the community plays in problem solving. And so I am very excited about this program. It's a great program. We love hosting it. And so we are very excited that we are moving forward with the class of 2022. So right now the class is being developed and we're in interview processing, but part of Leadership McLean County is being able to do our Leaders on Loan projects. And so I'm actually going to turn this over to Leslie, I believe, right? And Leslie is going to kind of talk about what are Leaders on Loan.
Thank you, Jancy. Great introduction. And so like we previously said, Brandon Long and I are co-chairing this Leaders on Loan program for this year, and we're really looking forward to meeting with a lot of you in regards to this program and hopefully working with you throughout this year. So as Jancy previously shared, the Leaders on Loan program is a part of that Leadership McLean County program and experience. And so from a business standpoint, as applicants of wanting to get into the Leaders on Loan program, we want to give you some background. These selected organizations, so businesses as yourself of McLean County, will be providing those proposed projects that will then be assigned to the participants who are actually going through this class of Leadership McLean County. And those participants will then be working together in a small working group of probably 3 to 5 people to develop or accomplish the proposed project that your business has submitted to Leadership of McLean County. And secondly, we wanted to share with you, as far as this Leaders on Loan program, the program will allow the participants, as well as you business partners, to learn together, to generate ideas from one another. And really, this is at minimum to no risk at all for the small businesses who are applying to be in this program. And we will later, as we go through at the end of our slideshow presentation, we definitely will have some Q&A time if you want to get into more details around the program. So next slide, I'll hand it over to Brandon.
Thanks, Leslie. Just kind of a brief overview of the components of the application. So we want to identify, obviously, a specific project or program that your organization is needing to accomplish with the help of the Leadership McLean County participants. It's important to have kind of a well-defined project scope with clearly stated deliverables. Just setting yourself as well as the project participants up for a successful experience. If you have a well-defined project and clear goals, we've really seen in the past that tends to generate more useful or more efficient projects, which of course creates a better experience, not only for the participants, but then of course a better end goal or end result for the either small business or nonprofits that are needing the work to be done. it's important to articulate how the project will address an unmet need, not only for your organization, but of course the community in McLean County as a whole. That is kind of a core, it's a core mission of the program, to not just help an organization, but create a win-win where the betterment of whether it be a process or creation of kind of a a new anything that your project can come up with, really not only is beneficial for the company, but also the community as a whole. And then of course it needs to be sustainable by beyond just the work that the participants have done. They are going to provide a deliverable that hopefully then the organization can continue in perpetuity. We have kind of pre-identified a few categories: technology support, marketing and development, training and human resources, and then of course there's also an innovators category. Just kind of some general categories of projects that we've seen in the past or expect in the future that have been successful.
Okay, thanks, Brandon. So I'm going to talk about the role of the project manager, and really, kind of tagging on to that last comment about having a successful project. Really, the success of the project comes down to just in my personal experience, is the communication and having a good understanding of what each other's roles are, and then communicating often with one another. So when we talk about project manager, we're talking about you as a business leader, whoever is going to be having the coordination and overseeing, um, or maybe part of the application process. Maybe you're very early identified as the project manager of whatever project you are submitting to leadership in McLean County for this Leaders on Loan program. We need to have someone identified from your business that is going to be having oversight over this project throughout the class year of 2021 through 2022. So as it indicates here in our first bullet, the expectation of whoever is assigned to that role is to be available on the designated meeting days that we've identified, which is already included in the application process, which we'll talk about those dates a little bit later throughout the presentation. But to be available on the designated meeting days, but also to be available to your small working group once that working group has been assigned. It really is going to be helpful for you to be available to this group as they try to gain insight and better understanding of what your need is. So as I mentioned, first thing, communicate, communicate, communicate. We cannot overemphasize that. And then to be able to set those realistic and measurable goals. Obviously, we need to set goals that are attainable. And remember, these volunteers, or these folks who are in your working group, are volunteers. They are not getting paid for this work. So, but at the same time, these are leaders within the community who had to go through a very stringent interview process. So we know that these are capable, highly skilled individuals who are going to give you a quality completed work product at the end. So, but also as we look at the fourth bullet, again, tagging on to the second bullet, providing feedback. So communicating throughout the project. And then also being available for our final project presentation, which again, will provide you that date a little bit later on. And then lastly here, just being available in that project selection interview. So what we're referring to is when we have identified businesses to take them through the interview process, just be aware that we're looking to have about 30 minutes of your time. And really, we just want to make it as conversational as possible. Just to, Brandon and I will be wanting to visit with you in really a more informal way.
The project manager commitment, as Leslie kind of alluded to a little bit, there's a couple required meeting days where the project manager will be meeting with the LMC participants during an LMC class day. There's the initial meeting, kind of where we will just do a little bit of introduction and then talking about the first chance to talk about the project as a whole on October 8th. Now skip to January 7th. As far as the class goes, it's a bit of a mid-year retreat. So it's going to be about a halfway point. And again, another kind of just preset time that is cut out of the project day to make sure there's time to be had with the project manager. Just kind of update them on how things are going, not only for the project manager, but also Leslie and myself, just to make sure everybody is making good progress, and also just kind of a preset time where people can use Leslie and myself as a resource, make sure they're on the right track and get any questions answered. The last kind of pre-selected day, March 18th, is when where our project or our LMC participants will present their final project. We ask that the project managers be there, not only to hear the final result of what the project team has come up with, but also provide some meaningful feedback for the group, and be able to answer any questions that anyone might have as well.
All right, thanks, Brandon. And so this really, for the most part, is our last slide of the presentation, and then we'll take it into Q&A. So at any time, if you have questions about the application or selection process, Jancy, I don't want to speak for you, but I believe Jancy is available. But let me just take you through kind of what the expectation is through that process. So our applications for this Leaders on Loan for businesses is Monday, August 2nd. So we really, really look forward to seeing a lot of those applications coming through. It is an online application. The instructions for that application process is available on the McLean County Chamber website. We've included it here in our presentation, but please go out to the Chamber website and take a look at it there. In regards to before you actually go into the application process, really be sure that you're taking a look at the job aid or the document that really takes you through a summary of what to expect when you are completing that application process. Because once you start that online application process, it's not one of those options where you get to save your work and come back to it later. You have to get it done in one fell swoop. So really make sure you're looking at those instructions prior to completing the application. Once we have those applications, we've reviewed who has applied. The semifinalists of those that we have chosen will be interviewed with the Leadership McLean County Steering Committee, which will definitely be myself and Brandon. And then notifications for selected notifications of those selections who we have selected the projects will be shared out by the end of August. So you will hear by the end of August if you have been selected. And then there will be up to 6 projects that will be chosen.
Thank you, Leslie. So at this time, if anyone does have any questions, please drop those in either the comment section on Facebook or in the chat on Zoom. More information can be found, as Leslie alluded to, on our website, mcleancochamber.org, or you can email me. Yes, I'm available for questions. Leslie didn't throw me under the bus. I'm available for questions. My email is jancy@mcleancochamber.org. I am actually going to stop sharing this screen And I am going to actually share the screen that you guys can see where this is at on the website. So if you go to the website, hopefully Leslie, Brandon, Brooke, you guys can see the website now, right? Just making sure I'm projecting the right stuff.
Yes.
So if you go to our website and you go to member resources, under member resources, you'll see Leadership McLean County. Under that, you'll see about LMC, our class of 2022 application. So that's the class that the actual class and participants right now that are going through the interview process. Then you'll see information about our class of 2021, which Leslie and Brandon were a part of, one of the most unique classes we've had so far, as we did that through a pandemic. And then you'll find information on our Leaders on Loan. So that is the screen that I am showing here. The applications are due on August 2nd. For the class of 2022. Leaders on Loan is open to all chamber members in good standing of the McLean County Chamber of Commerce. So if you're a small business, if you're a nonprofit, any of that information or any of those organizations are available to or eligible to apply, but you do have to be a chamber member to apply. Proposed projects will be presented to the LMC class in September, and then you guys will be able to meet with them in October, as Brandon said, and then they should be completed by March of 2022. So as you're looking at a project, you're trying to decide what the project should be or kind of the timeline for it, keep in mind that the class starts in September. They'll kind of be introduced to what that is in September, and then you'll meet with them in October, and then that needs to be wrapped up by the class completion in March. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a timeline for what you're looking for the Leaders on Loan project to be. On this website, all the information, or on this webpage, all the information that we presented today is on here. So if you were looking for, you know, what were those dates that we said that were required, they're on here. The application process itself, you can download instructions. So instead of, you know, apply now, that is the online program. So we use an online kind of format for that. The trick of that is you can't go back and update that information once you start it, which is very frustrating. I know, trust me. And so we actually put the application instructions on here as well. So you can actually download what the application instructions are, kind of goes through the process. But then down here on page 2, it kind of starts with, and page 3, what are the questions we ask you on the application process itself? So there are some essay questions here. In addition to just information about your organization and all those pieces. In addition, the Apply Now button is where you will actually go to apply. This is through a WooFoo form. WooFoo is kind of like SurveyMonkey, but this is the session, or this is the application online platform that we use. Unfortunately, the form cannot be saved and returned to later, so please allow appropriate amount of time to, you know, fill out the form in completion. I would recommend you create a Word document with your essay questions and just copy and paste them into this application. But you can check out the application itself and kind of go through it. It is a couple pages long, and so you can't go to the next page, unfortunately, because it'll give you this nice little error message that your information is missing. And that is why we created the project application instructions, so you can see all of those essay questions there. So just wanted to point that out to folks. If you do have any questions as you go through this, you can most certainly reach out to the chamber, myself, Leslie, Brandon, any of us can provide that information to you and answer those questions. So I am going to stop sharing. Sorry, I just went back to our screens, but I am going to look for questions right now. Brandon, Leslie, anything to add to that piece?
No, I think you covered it all there. I think that application process is fabulous, and having those instructions available for folks ahead of the application is going to be really helpful. I did see Brooke had a really great question there. So I think it's fair for us to maybe provide some insight into some of the examples of past projects that have been submitted. I don't know if it's fair to share actual business names, but I can tell you from actual project standpoint, for example, for our project last year, the business had requested a marketing strategy on how to elicit an increase in reaching out to a specific consumer in that area. So it was actually, a lot of fun to be able to start to research in our local community, where are the areas where we can increase that consumer to be to either be better informed about the product that business was selling, and then how do we engage that consumer. And some of those tools and resources were, increasing a presence on social media, for example. So a lot of fun. Yeah. And so for that particular business, it was more geared towards that marketing strategy piece.
For other projects that we've done, some of them have worked with nonprofits, some of them have worked with for-profit entities. So there is a stretch of what the project proposal can be and who it can come from. Sometimes it has to do with just organizational capacity. So one of the projects last year for one of our projects was actually creating a volunteer handbook and manual. And so creating that kind of process there of being able to standardize those procedures. Other projects that we had were marketing projects as well, that Leslie kind of talked about, but some of them were actually, they created videos for an organization. And so they kind of did some video marketing and just having some of those informational session things or informational resources, not things, resources that are presented then to the organization. In years past, it has really, it's been a stretch of, or a plethora of different organizational things. I know with Compact, we actually had, I can speak because that's one of the organizations that I work for. We had a Leaders on Loan project 3 years ago, that they actually created a college and career kind of resource guide for us. And so what were some of the resources that college and career opportunities, defining using standard language and doing some things. And so they really kind of built this guide for us to kind of help us move forward. So that was one of the projects that was completed through Leaders on Loan. So there's been it really just depends on what you're looking for as an organization, what you're needing some help with, as Brandon kind of alluded to, what's the unmet need that you have? And so how can these folks do that? These are volunteers. So I will say that this is not a full-time gig for them. This will be a project of their Leadership McLean County experience. And so this isn't something that they have full commitment to, but it is a project that they have to complete for the program. So I know sometimes people are like, oh, well, they're a full-time, no, they still have full-time jobs and lives and things outside. And so this is a piece of that leadership program, but it's a really cool opportunity. If there's something that you're looking for, you really do have a working group at your fingertips of professionals who have some unique skill sets. And really what they're looking to get out of it as well. So what we try to do is once we get the projects established, and then once we get our class established, we then do a survey to the class to see what they're interested in. And then we try to pair them accordingly. So that's kind of how the process works is we really try to seek out our class members and what they're, if they do marketing for a living and they don't really want to do marketing, we kind of go in that direction of, okay, well, let's see what else is out there for them. So one of the, on the slide that Brandon talked about with our kind of our sections, training or technical support, marketing and development, training and human resources, and then an innovators category, really looking at those kind of 4 categories. That's how we base those projects and determine what they are. So hopefully that helps a little bit for folks who are listening. So any other questions or anything else to add, Leslie or Brandon, before we kind of wrap things up today? I'm not seeing any questions on Facebook, so I think we're good there. And I think we've answered all the questions in the chat. I'm checking one more time, but I think we're good. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Again, if you do have any questions, please reach out to me. Again, you can find my information is here on the screen, and more information is at our website as well. So please feel free to check out the webpage or give me a quick email. In closing, thank you so much, Leslie and Brandon, for joining us today. We appreciate the time you guys have taken to kind of pull this together. LMC is really ran by a steering committee of volunteers. Leslie and Brandon are two of them. And so they are really who lead the group. I just kind of try to direct the ship a little bit. So they're the ones who put in the work for this. So we appreciate you taking the time to review our Leaders on Loan project and our application process. Again, for more information, check out the Chamber's website. And the Chamber would once again like to recognize our July Video Resource Library sponsor, Rise Zerchinski and Company, LLP. Because of generous contributions such as theirs, we're able to provide our informational sessions to folks, and so we really appreciate their contributions. Please make sure to check out our Video Resource Library at mcleancochamber.org. And this concludes our town hall for today. So thank you everyone for joining us. We appreciate you, your interest in our Leaders on Loan project, and we hope to see an application from you on August 2nd. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.